Hello, thank you for joining us today. My name's Krista White. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Crow Canyon, and I'm joined today by James Restivo, our VP of Product Development. We've got a great workshop for you planned for today on print templates with NITRO, and a couple housekeeping things before I hand things over to James. We will be, of course, taking questions, so go ahead and use that question box on the right-hand side of GoToWebinar and pop in any questions you have. We can either answer them for you there or unmute you if it makes sense to just have a conversation. But we're here to answer your questions, and we put the workshops on for you. We want you to get value out of this, so don't be shy. And we will also be recording this workshop, so any questions, if you need to reference this later, it will be added to our website as well as YouTube. So with that being said, I won't take up any more time. I'll go ahead and hand things over to James. James, what do you have for us today at this workshop?
Yeah, great. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it. And thanks everyone for joining today. Looks like a couple of people joining last minute, so thanks for coming on. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about print templates in the NITRO toolset, and this is something I'm really excited to show you because it's something that SharePoint doesn't do well out of the box, is printing things. And if you, unless you have a document, obviously pull up a document, Word, whatever, print it there. But if you have like a SharePoint list with metadata, that metadata is not going to be easy to print. And that's where NITRO can come in and give you a nice way to print things out. And we're using this in our purchase request program, and that's where I'm going to be showing you a lot of the features and things that you can change is from our purchase request program. And you could use it, and we do use it to print out purchase orders. We actually use it internally to generate quotes. So if you saw a quote from us in the past 2 or 3 years, that was actually generated using this tool set. So it's got a lot of great features, a lot of great options for you, and I'm really excited to kind of show you what that's all about. Like Krista said, if you have any questions along the way, feel free to raise a hand. I can unmute you, or if you want to just pop something into the box. If you don't feel like talking, that's fine too. We, either way, we're happy to accommodate your question wherever you are. But with that, we'll go ahead and get started. It looks like most folks have joined that are going to join, and we'll go ahead with it. All right, so I'm going to pull aside this screen here, and you see that we're working from our purchase request program. Now, first thing we do, I'm going to show you that I'm working from some articles that we already have out on our crowcanyon.help site. And some of these are articles, like this one's removing a border. There's one talking about rich print templates. So a lot of these things we'll walk through what these are showing, and I will get that going for you. If you have any questions about these things as we go along, certainly let me know. But just to show you what, kind of simply what you can do with a print template, really even just straight out of the box without doing anything to the print template. So this is a different site I switched over to that I'm pretty sure I don't have anything configured over here for a print manager, but just, out of the box, we have this all field. So even right away, you're going to get a better, even, slightly better display of things and how, versus printing out from the SharePoint page, right? If you print this out from SharePoint, you're going to get this this kind of ugly thing with all this extra stuff is going to be there. You're not going to be getting the data from here. But even just without configuring a single thing, just having NITRO on here starts with this kind of tabular format, which you have some control over if we go in and start messing around with the settings. But the real power, I think, comes from the rich text editor that we have in our print manager tool. And just to give you a sense of what that looks like, just as an example of what we've built over here is that we've got a couple different templates that we're working from. So we've taken the data from the metadata from this purchase order that's in the background. That happens to be the list we're working from. And you can see we've input things which are essentially just placeholders from that list. So if we had the ship to information filled out, that would also be filled out. That's not filled out on the item, so of course that data is missing. But you can see we've got this layout here, which we can move, change around, make it nicer. We can separate out the PO number from the purchase order header. You can also put a logo on there. So here's a version with a logo, slightly different layout. But we have a lot of control with how this is, how this looks. And really all we're doing is taking placeholders from the SharePoint list item and dropping them into a rich text control. Now within that rich text control, you're also going to have a lot of options for HTML editing. So if there's going to be a lot of resources out there on the web for you. There's the resources on CurriCanyon.help that I mentioned already, but you can get a lot done with the HTML control, which is going to be this button here. Now let's just walk through the configuration here and just walk through the different types of templates you have. Let's kind of step back for a second. You have two different types of templates. You have a list print template and an item print template. Now the difference is that a list print template will print out multiple items. So if you wanted to see a view, if you didn't want to export to Excel, if you wanted to configure a view in a certain way, you could do a list print template. And just to show you what that looks like, we have a list that we're going to point to. Let's say it's purchase orders. We want to look at a view of purchase orders. Let's say just look at my purchase orders, or you can look at a custom query where you can go and select exactly which ones you want to have in your data filter. I'm just going to go with view to make it easy. And I'll look at open ones, which I think we have a couple. You can see we can have it very simple with a table, and we're going to use the columns from the all items view, and we could also select the columns. But here, let's just start here with this very kind of simple, simple list print. And show you what that looks like. There's headers and footers and things I could put in there too, which I didn't, but just to show you what this kind of start from looks like. And the nice thing is that the settings kind of take effect right away, right? I just hit save, and now all of a sudden I've got that simple list print option over here in my other view. So it kind of shows up right away. So you can now see your list of items in a much friendlier way, much better way, kind of layout, which you now can go and play around with. If you wanted to increase the border, you can put some weight around it, make it a little bolder, and just kind of show you some of those settings. If you come back over here, we have the styles. So the styles is going to be there for your tables. It's going to disappear when you switch over to rich text control. But you can see you can put a border around your table. You can make it more solid. We can do a cell border. I'm going to bump it up to 5, I think, to make it a little more apparent. Actually, I'm going to change the color to black because that's going to highlight. And you can see I'm actually going to do a slightly different color for the inside for the cells. So you just see the difference. And we're going to leave this fine. We'll center the text just so that see what that looks like. So a couple of small tweaks. Again, they take effect right away. Go ahead and go to list print. And we select our template since it's not default. And now you can see the color's kind of crazy, but there it is. Really shows you what it looks like. In practice, you probably want to have it the same color as the border. We can go back and change that and just give it a slightly different look and feel. Black. I'm change this to black too. I'm not sure why I reverted back in this UI settings here. It's kind of interesting, but so we changed it back. And you got a few other options here. You can control which columns are being shown, but really the real power kind of comes in with this rich text editor where you can start dumping in placeholders. So you can do purchase order number, and all you have to do is come over here to your list of options, all the metadata from your list, and go ahead and pop in your purchase order number, whatever field you want to show. And let's say you want to do amount, like total, like the total amount. There we go. And it should be in here somewhere. Let's see, total cost is in here. There it is. Okay, total cost. So you get a couple things on there. Save that. So now we've changed that template a little bit, and what you'll see on here, because it's a list print, it's going to print both of those items on the same thing. You can see it's got this order here. Now we can put a page break in there as well. There's a way to do that through the HTML. You can put a page break in there so that each of these items will appear on a separate page. So that gives you another way to lay out the items, multiple items that you might want to print out and show or display or save or send to someone else. And you see you have these options at the top to export to an image, export to a PDF, send as an email. You can see you even have some more options where you have different APIs for the PDF. I think there's a slightly different rendering engine behind each of these, so you might want to try either one and see which one works better for you. Sometimes there's a little bit of a limitation with what we can do with printing out with a PDF, printing to a PDF. And we do have some workarounds. I'll show you. I think they're mentioned in some of these .help articles that I've got pulled up on my other browser window. But you can kind of start building things out, adding more in there. And you can see you can kind of create this iterative process. And you really just kind of look at it and come back to it and say, you know what, I want to add this in there. I want to get this thing in there. Maybe get there's a way to do a page break. I don't know exactly how to do it, but there's a way to get a page break in there. It's not that specifically. I'm sure we have an article on it, and I'll look that up in just a little bit. But you got the HTML control. You've got all these other types of controls, which you can use for making things bolder, underlining, et cetera, fonts, sizes, adjustments, alignment adjustment, numbering, bulletin numbers. You can have like a just create a bulleted list and say, here's the amount, here's the purchase quantity. You probably want to put some kind of indicator on there, quantity, like so. All right, so kind of gets you started on building things out and creating a list template or a print template that has the things you need, the elements you need, the data you need in a very simple way to do it. See, there it goes. It looks pretty good, actually. So list print template has a lot of the same options as item print template, but I'm going to kind of focus on the item print template because I think that's going to be the scenario most people are going to use. And this is the scenario that is going to come into play when we talk about automatically generating documents. We use the item print template for that. So I think more power comes from the item print template, but you can do all these things where I'm going to show you in the item print template. Those can be done in the list print template as well. You just keep in mind as you print things out, if you have to use a rich text control, you might want to put that page break in there to make sure things go on separate pages in your list print template. Just to kind of show you some elements we have. You see we've got a whole article here. I'm just going to pull onto the screen. You configure which print templates using Croquet Print Manager. So this is there available for you to take a look at. And you see it's got a bunch of different options where if you print this out, and I'll just show you this real quick, it's got this header information at the top and the URL at the bottom. A lot of times you want to hide that, right? So if you go to the print option, that's when you're printing out to a printer. If you save it as a PDF, I don't think that comes into play. But just kind of show you what that looks like if we come into our item print template here and go ahead and hit print. It's going to bring up the browser print screen. And it's going to go to send it to my actual printer, just to show you what that looks like. And then we have this option under more settings, which I may have toggled off already. Yeah, headers and footers. I was playing around with it earlier and toggled it off. But you see when I toggle it back on, you've got those things at the top and the URL at the bottom. So that's actually in your print settings on the browser itself. You can go ahead and remove those things. So it makes it a little cleaner, gives you a little cleaner look and feel on the printout that comes out of it. So it's one thing we can do there. Let's see what else we can do. We've got some other options here, lots of them. So we can remove those headers and footers. We can insert a base 64 image. It looks like we actually got a question about getting an image into the printout. So let me show you what that looks like. So there's a couple different ways you can do that. The best way to do it is through this base 64 encoding, which gives you this kind of crazy, huge, long string of text, but it's, the best benefit, the good thing is that you don't have to think about it or really do anything more with it, just copy and paste it, right? So here's how we get an image into a print template. So let's say we wanted to convert an image into base 64. Okay, so click here. That's going to bring me to a new page, and all I have to do from here is simply upload my image, which is going to be coming from my list of files here. I got a whole ton of stuff. They get to see. I'm going to have my logo here. Open that up, and you can see there's the image file. Here's the one I want to get. I want to get the image src. You can see how long it is. I don't even have to do that. I can just hit copy right there at the top. So I'll copy it. And now I can go back to my template, and I would put this into the HTML. So in this one, I'm just going to show you this template is one I was playing with where I put it in. It's got it's in the logo field. Okay, so referring to a field on the list. The way I'm doing it is I've got the logo field in this on this item. So if I go into here, I don't know if I have it shown, but I'll see if I have it there. Yeah, here we go, logo. So what I'm doing, if I go and edit that, is I've added that long string of base64 text to the logo field. So that's one way to do it. So now we have the logo that can be pulled in and put onto that template. But of course, that's really only useful for that one particular item, right? So this is only one particular item, it's got that logo. How do I get it across for multiple items? Well, we've had some scenarios and some customers who have different logos because they are printing out purchase orders for different companies. In that case, we're taking that base64 kind of from a predetermined list of items, and it's a lookup list, and we pull it in, and that way we can dynamically control or dynamically show which logo based on which company is printing out the purchase order. But in case you want to put it on the print template itself, if we come back into here, let me just show you from the footer side because I think that's going to be where it shows best. Just take that image SRC text, and you see it automatically puts it in there. So we can do that on the template. We can do that right here in the on the header and the footer. But if we want it in this like rich text control here, we can just simply do this and go to our HTML and same thing. And the only trouble is if you put it in here, kind of like, this is big block of text in your HTML editor, but that might be okay. And if we hit update, now you see that logo is there, and we can even, left, right, justify it as needed. So hopefully that answers your question regarding the logo. We can embed it in a couple of different ways. It can either be dynamic from a column in SharePoint, or it could be in your template itself. So a couple different ways there. And so just go ahead and I don't even have to go through all that text and select it. I can just delete the image directly from the rich text editor right in here. See, these things got moved over. I'm going to move them back. Okay. So that's a couple different ways to embed that logo in there. So you got the placeholder and you've got the directly adding it through the HTML. Let's look at some of the other things we can do here. Let's see, over here. We can, we could put a header there, make it center aligned. It's just you're seeing that already with the alignment. You can do this formatting where you have the text in a column and you got the space in between. Let me show you that one real quick because that one's a kind of cool one to get text on the same line across the width of the printout. And I think this actually matches up with a question that just came in about aligning text next to the logo. So I think we can do it using this methodology I'm going to show you. So we can go ahead and get a table. So the way to do this is you create a table. And we got a table wizard here. And in this case, I'm just going to do a 2-column, 1-row table. And just leave it like that. Nothing too fancy. And then we can put in what we want. So in this one, I'm going to put the logo, and this might get a little funky because I haven't tried this before. So I want to see what this, I kind of want to see what it does. So we've got our table, we've got our table row, table display, and I'm going to go ahead and put that text in there. Okay, there's that. Let's see how that works. There you go. Now you got that. And then we can put in whatever text we want on the right-hand side. Let's say we want to put the vendor address. We've got it down here. I'm just going to copy and paste. Just copy both of these. Copy, paste those next to that. And let's take a look at what that looks like. And it's not going to be exactly right because there's still some changes I need to make, but I just want to kind of show you as we iteratively go through this, what it kind of looks like as we do these things. Let me pull up that one. So now you've got the text next to the logo. Of course, the logo is coming from the header as well. But that gives you that way to add those text elements right next to the logo element without having to do too much. Really, those tables are going to be a lifesaver when laying out your templates. One thing you can do, and I'm going to pull this from the documentation, is how do we get it so that the logo's over here, or any text, anything is over on the left-hand side, and wherever we have in that right cell is all the way over on the right-hand side. Well, we got to add in another little tag from our documentation. And again, you can just go to our article here, number 378, and pull this information from it quite easily. So if we go to, let's just go click to it. There it goes. Okay, how to figure such that information comes in leftmost and rightmost in the same row, like letter format. Well, here's what we need to do. We've already added our table. We've added our, we got to do left align and right align. I'll go ahead and do that. And then we just need to add in a style, and then we need to add in this class at the top. So let me go ahead back to our template over here. And we're gonna make this as a right align. I'm gonna make this, it's already, I think, left align, but I'll just double check. There it goes. And then we just go into our HTML. Where's the HTML here? And go back to our list, our document. You can pull this style, just copy and paste it. Copy it from the article, go up to the top, copy it into the HTML. And then I'm gonna go back to the article and pull in this class style thing. I'm gonna add that to the table tag in the HTML. So I come back over here, top heading 2, it's, yeah, that's the table thing. So I just need to right click next, or click next to the table, add in, you put a space there, add in that class equals top heading 2. So that's going to refer back to this top heading 2 style. And that should make it go all the way across. So let me just save that. And I tried it earlier, it worked, I promise. Hopefully it works this time. Yeah, there we go, perfect. So just those simple little things that just copy and paste from the article that we have. You can put your text or logo or anything on the left-hand side, and you can have all your stuff fully all the way across on the right-hand side and have it all next to each other. And then we could even put maybe even another column in between if you want to do a 1, 2, 3. And I think in that case, you just do like 33%. If you come back over here, just kind of show you what that HTML is doing. And I'll scroll up to the top. You see it's got width of 50% for this is one of those rows. We can just make that 33% if there's multiple columns. We got to scroll through all our image encoded text, and then we could do another, 33% and then 33% just to make sure we got those. It's taking up the width of the page in thirds. So that's how you can get that kind of look and feel to get things lined up the way you want them to be lined up and in the place that you want them to have. And you see we've also removed the border. That's part of the HTML text we have here, is to remove that border. You can see the border is 0. Let's say we want to put it back just to show it. It's 2 pixels. Might be too many, but I'll just really show it. Cancel this, go back. And pull that back up. No, didn't show up, but that's okay. We can get that border. We can get a border around there if we want to have it. So that's some different layout options they have there with this printout. Let's go back and take a look at what else we can do here. So there's other things we can do for the formatting. The associated items is a really great one, and this is really perfect for the purchase order, purchase request kind of scenario, but you might want it for ticketing solutions where you have tasks, or projects where you want to print out your project template and have all the project data with all the associated tasks in there. So you can certainly do that, and there's some control you have over how this is shown. So in this case, we've got our formatting for a line items in a list of purchasing. And what we've put here is just a link over to that purchase order details. So that's the list, that's the associated list. So let me kind of walk through that for just a minute. If we go to our list settings and go to NITRO Forms, you'll have your associated items list here. So you can see this is the name, purchase order details, and then the display name is line items. So that's what we see on the template. If I click back here, purchase order details and line items. All right. So then that in and of itself isn't actually going to work. So you need to take another step, which is not that difficult. If we go to our list settings, you'll notice there's a item called Crow-Canyon linked items. So this allows you to get that associated items look and feel into the print template. So we actually have to create a linked items column. Fortunately, it's really easy. You just go ahead and click new. A lot of this might actually be pre-populated because it's going to kind of intuitively know, interestingly enough, which ones you want to do or which ones are already set up as items. So let's say we want to do list, our purchase orders list. and we're going to select an existing column. It might not let me do it because I think it's already, no, okay, it does let me do it, good. And then where we're going to get the information from, well, we're going to get it from the site. We're going to get it from the line items, purchase items list, and then lookup column is going to be purchase order. Then we can do a summary view or whatever kind of view you want. Those are the columns that are going to print out in that printout that comes along with it. We can modify things or move things around with these JSON settings. If you want to do aggregates, in this case, we have a sum column. So let's say we want to do total cost summation. We can go ahead and do that. And then we can even put a item on here for total cost. And we can take it a step further and format that so that it has a $ in front of it or any kind of sign if you're using a different kind of currency. And that can come from our article as well. So just go back over to our article. Let me jump down to where that is. It's this number D, how to show a $. And you can just simply copy and paste this directly into that formatting section. So copy this from the article, go back to our linked items column, plop that into the format, and that's it. We're pretty much done. I don't think anything else you have to worry about because we're not dealing with a list view. We're dealing with it in a linked items column. But you can see I've already configured it. That I just wanted to walk through what it looks like. But I've actually already configured it over here in this settings. You can see here's all the same settings that we just looked at. I've already got that $ formatting in there. So again, just pull that from our article and pop it into the linked item setting setup, and you're good to go. So that's going to look like it does on this template printout. Let me go ahead and save that. Go back over here, item print. And let's go to the CG. And there you go. There it is. Those are the associated items. There's only one. We could always add another one in here. So let's say we wanted to, actually I can't add another one because it's our APO, but kind of limitation, well, not limitation, just a restriction in the purchase order system, which makes sense. You don't want to add new line items after it's already been made into a purchase order. But let's say we added another line item, it would certainly appear in that printout as well. Go to item print and see that. So that's where again that total cost from the 6,000. That's where the $ is coming from. Now let's say we wanted to. I think we have an option to make that, or these headers not bold. There's an option with the bolding in there. Oh yeah, how to show a summary of associated items with normal font instead of bold. Well, here's another style that we can simply add to our HTML source. And again, just copy and paste from the opening style tag to the closing style tag, just copy. Come over here, go to the HTML, and we can put array at the top. Now I don't think it matters how many of these style tags we have in here. As long as we close each one, we're good. Come over here and do the item print. And you can see now it's not bold. So that gives you another way to control it. Another thing you do is change how the settings are for each of these columns. You can have them be different widths. You can have them be all the same width if you want. And you can do that again through some HTML tagging that we have available in this article, 378 article. So let me scroll back up to the top. How to print this. Yeah, here it is. How to set default width for all columns in associated items column grid in item print template. So it is possible to set the default. I just got to go through a couple steps. A lot of them we've already taken. We've already configured the linked items, which I talked about just a moment ago. So you need those linked items, that linked items configuration so that you can get the actual associated items in the print template. We also have a link to the manual in case you need it. And then we just need to modify our print template and edit that rich text control with the view HTML, kind of what I've been doing all along. And then we need to add this into the header tag for, I think it has to go in the header for some reason, but we essentially have this, oh no, actually this part of it goes around the associated items column itself. So if I go back over to our print settings, and go into the HTML. And you can see here's our purchase order line details. We already got that div ID in there. So all I would need to do is come in and copy and paste from that column, from that article. And then it's got the closed div. That's all we need to do is add this div ID equals yada, 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 CSS associated style. Again, just copy and paste it. You don't have to remember it. And put it into your HTML right around the actual, the only thing you have to remember is what does your associated items reference column placeholder look like? And then you can get it in there. So make sure that's going. And then in the header, we add something into the HTML here, which I think I took out. So let me go ahead and add it back in. And we need to take this header. And what this is doing is it's setting that width for those columns by percentage, right? So it's 100% is all the way across. So depending on how many columns you have, you just simply take 100 divided by the number of columns, and that's your percentage that you need. So in this case, it's 100 divided by 6. But in our case, I know we have 5 because I counted it earlier. So 100 divided by 5 is 20. So we just do 20%. And then we save that. And come back over here. And now they're all going to be the exact same width, if that's what you want. If you wanted to auto select, we could just take those things out and you've got it auto selecting. Yeah, let's see a few other things. Like there's some multiple choice option. You can play around with those if you want to display like multiple choice columns and text in the same thing. There's a few other things that we can do there as far as like maybe dynamically printing items or things like that. So you can go through this and kind of see what options are available. If you can see different ways you can manage the template and play around with it. We got the images, which is article 255. So that gives you that link over to that convert for the base 65. Hopefully that'll help you with getting those images into your print template, either permanently or even dynamically. We can remove the border for rich text. So if you look at this printout, and it's got this border around it, you can see there. Might not notice it at first, but if you want to get rid of it, we have an article to do that. Let's just walk through that one real quick. So again, we're going to that HTML tag, and we're going to just add this style for the border style equals none, and that's it. I mean, just copy this and put it in. So let's go back over here. And if I'm clicking around too quickly, just let me know, because I tend to get going on things and moving things around quickly. There's a familiarity I have with it that I appreciate not everyone might have. So if I'm going too fast for anyone, certainly just let me know. But again, take that text from the article, pop it into our HTML, hit update, save. We can even do it on this one so you can see it right away. Do this one. Typically don't want to change this one because this is our demo site, but just for quick purposes, I'll show you what this looks like. Oh, I'm not sure why I did all that. That's interesting. Okay. All right. Well, I'll have to dig into that one with my team because, like I said, I hadn't played around with that one yet. But it looks like it might be an extra tag in there or something. Let's just troubleshoot real quick. Let me get out of here first. And let's see. Maybe because I put it next to that dot. Maybe put it up here. It'll make it work better. Yeah, there we go. So it doesn't have all that extraneous text now. I thought it was part of that CSS element. Okay, I kind of changed things around a little bit, but now you don't have that border around everything. So it looks like it might have impacted something else, but that's kind of the nature of the game. Sometimes things like that happen in demos and you have to go and troubleshoot, but it's easy enough to go in there and just kind of play around with the settings and make sure you get it back to the way you want it to be. And of course, in this case, I'm going to go ahead and revert my change. And the nice thing about it too here is that you can get rid of that and update. Nice thing here too is that you can, what was I going to say? Save your template essentially just by opening up this HTML control and copying and pasting it. So that's actually one way you can copy templates from one thing to another. Let's say you have a base template here that you want to, create a new one. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy this. Let's see, make sure it's all updated. I want to make sure I remove that. Okay, update, save. All right, so I copy that, and I'm going to create a new item print template, and just do test template. And all I need to do is come in here, paste in. You got the exact same thing. Easy. So the HTML control is a lifesaver in that sense. You can go and save it outside the system, outside of SharePoint, or in the doc library if you want to kind of retain it, throw it into a notepad file and save it for later. That's great. You can do that. So it kind of gives you a way to say, okay, here's where I'm starting from. I'm going to make changes, and if I mess something up really badly, I can just go ahead and take my original template, and it's kind of a way to save things as you go too, and take your original template and throw it back in there. Now, to be fair, we also do have versioning on these files, and if you need to go and revert something, you can let us know. We can help you out with getting it back to the way you want it to be. But you could use the versioning of the file itself and revert back as well in SharePoint in CCS folder under site assets, I think it is. So different ways you can play around with it. You've got all those different rich text controls. Now, once you've got your template put together, let's say you want to go and create a document automatically from either a custom action or a workflow. And to do that, if we open up our custom actions, I'll just do it from custom actions. It'll be the same thing in workflows. We have a generate document action. So I'm just gonna go ahead and open up a new custom action here where we can generate a document. And you have some options for generating that document. And so you could do Word, template, which you have to store in a document library on your site. Excel template, same thing, store it. It's a little trickier to use Excel than Word. And then also have item print template. I think item print template, honestly, is probably the easiest way to do it, because then you can play around with it directly. With Word, you have to have these like particular kind of form fields to map into. You have to like build that mapping in the settings. Purchase order template or the item print template already has all those mappings in place. I guess you have to build them too. But either way, whichever one you want to do, you can go ahead and add your template, all the placeholders. You can choose where to store it as well. So this kind of, obviously is going to be on printing. Now you're storing that item in a document library and making it available for, sorry about that, and then making it available for your users to look at afterwards if you want to print out, print out certain things or save certain things, or save like a sales quote, like I said, we use it internally for sales quotes. You can save it to a document library, and then it's available for you to print out from Word or from Excel or from a PDF, well, really PDF or Word from the print template. So a couple different options there for that, but this will automatically create that document, so you don't have to go and actually select print, then print it out and manage the settings. Yada, yada, yada. So another way that you can get a document generated from the system like this. So again, that'll be more of an automated process where you can do it on a click of a button through a custom action, or you can do it through some kind of automated process through a workflow. Like when the item is saved, go generate the document, or when the item is approved, go generate the document. And then you can also use that in conjunction with our send mail, I believe. We go ahead and actually take this a step further. And now we're kind of getting into document generation stuff, which is a little different, but I think still related to printing. And let me just configure this real quick. Test generation. We're gonna do item print template, and it's gonna go. So I'm just gonna choose some document library. Just do a purchase order number signed. Got some file name in there. Let's leave it at that. So just kind of keep it simple. But now with a send mail action, you can use, I think you can take, let me see, where is it? I think I might have to save it first. Attachments, I know it's in here somewhere, I apologize. I know I've seen it. All right, well, this wasn't really intended to be part of the workshop. I just wanted to go take that direction a little bit. But you can refer back to this document generation task and use it in a send mail action, and or you can use it in a DocuSign action. Actually, I believe the DocuSign piece has to come from workflows because I'm not seeing it here. Let me just go over to workflows. And it's Crow Canyon NITRO workflow. There it is. Of course, with the DocuSign setup, you would need to have an account with DocuSign for sending it through. So that is something you would need to do. Yeah, here's DocuSign. So we can do a generate document action, and then we can send that same document through DocuSign, and it gives you another way. And you can use our print template, or you can use, obviously you can use a Word template or Excel template if you wanted to. But yeah, a couple different ways to get what you need out of the system with print templates and printing things out. If you have any questions, looks like there were a few questions. Hopefully some of the ones that came in, I was able to answer on the fly. I think I answered, James, I think I answered yours. Don, I think I answered yours. If I didn't, please just let me know. We can post it back in. But I did get another question. Can you email a SharePoint image field so the email shows the actual image in the body? That's an interesting thing. So it's more of like a send mail kind of configuration, I think. I think so. I think so. Let me go ahead. Let's find out. So it sounds like this is going beyond just what the printout would be, but in the actual template. So I believe since we have those same rich text controls over here, we can put in the image here. So let me try that. Let me go back to our conversion thing here. Let me get that image back. And whereas here, open. Copy this, and let's see if this will work in the mail template. There it is. That worked. So as long as you have that base64 thing, conversion in place, you can do that. So that might be the missing element. Some of you might have struggled with getting images and templates and in printouts. Getting that base64 text obviously is not easy. Well, it is actually really easy, but it's not easy to intuitively know that's how you need to do it. But that's why it's great to have these workshops so people can understand that these are things you can do to make your lives a little easier. We can just go straight to that article. It's got a link to this this link here. Again, that's article 255, and it's got that link right here. Click here. And it's going to bring you to the ability to the page that'll convert your image. You just upload it from your computer and put it in there, and that will work. Okay, and so that looks like it's going to work for templates as well. Any templates, mail templates, print templates, either or. It looks like we had another question about can the document come back to the SharePoint library it was sent from? I believe so. And now we're kind of getting into the DocuSign integration a little bit, which is a little bit outside the contours of this workshop. But if people are interested, I'm certainly happy to talk about it. So full disclosure, I have not played with the document sign action in a fair bit, but it does look like once you've configure your settings of where to, which type of document to sign, whether it's coming from a generate document action or an item attachment. You've got your who you're going to send it to, and you've got your email that's going to go and be generated in DocuSign, and then you've got your where to save the signed document. So hopefully that answers your question. You have the ability to put it wherever it came from. You just put wherever document library in here that makes sense. Let's see, I think it's just documents. So we can take that signed document that comes back from DocuSign and put it into your your document library. So yes, to answer that question, can the DocuSign document come back to the SharePoint library? I believe the answer is yes. I believe it'll come back with a different name, either with a sign tag on it, so it won't overwrite the existing document that draft document that you sent out, but it will come back to the same library. Yeah, that pretty much covers the print templates. Certainly happy to answer any other questions that might come in if you have any. We'd be happy to address those. if I answer all the questions you guys posed on this call, I'd be happy to hear that. And if I didn't, certainly let me know, and we can always we can always follow up afterwards, or if you have a moment to pop it in, I can get it answered. But otherwise, I think that pretty much covers it. So I appreciate everyone joining today and going through the options with the print template and ways you can use that print template afterwards. If there's anything that's not clear or anything you didn't see that you want to see, certainly let me know, and we can potentially talk offline, have a quick chat about what it is you want to get done with your print templates, and go from there. But yeah, again, appreciate everyone's time today, and thank you for joining, and hope you have a good rest of your day. And thanks, Krista.
Thanks, James.